Welcome back, friends. Last guy friend, it's time for more of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. In the middle of case 4 here. And... Yeah, we're turning the jury, or we just turned the jury. Could it seem churlish of me to drink from my hallowed chalice moments after raising an objection? Only to crush it in disgust? Pray forgive the discourtesy. Lord Von Zeeks? You drank it! That's new! It seems I must retract my earlier remark. What do you mean? I mistakenly credit these jurors with intelligence by describing them as insightful. Yet we have just witnessed them falling for a cheap trick performed by an Eastern entertainer. Eh? Whatever do you mean?
Objection!
Yeah, what does it mean? I haven't tricked anyone. Everything I've said is the truth. Indeed, stalwart juror number 5 was undoubtedly repairing the road as he claims. I believe you said it was a good 2 yards of the pavement which you had excavated, sir. That's right. Took me the whole day and they paid me a measly tuppence for it. Now, my learned Nipponese friend, tell me. Do you have any notion of the distance that 2 yards represents? Well, if I'm honest, I don't have a clue, no. 2 yards is a little less than 2 meters. Less than 2 meters? That's not much at all! In other words, a distance readily vaulted by anyone of moderate vigor. Oh, you think that guy was able to jump 2 meters? Would you not agree, my stalwart friend? Me? Well, I can't say you're wrong, no. What? And did you perchance erect a sign to prevent pedestrians from passing the site of your works? That's getting too edgeworthy. I wouldn't dream of it. What a waste of time. No coaches would have had a hope of passing anyway, and we just turn any gentlefolk back when they come. Kids just jump right over all the time. The accused is no gentleman as far as I can see. I have little doubt, however, that he could spring over a 2-yard trench in his meanderings around town. Ah! Is that true? Is it? That should have been more angry. Is that true? Is it? Yeah. Incontrovertible truth is that the books just purchased by the accused were found at the scene. There can be no doubt that on his way back to his lodgings, Mr. Natsume walked down Briar Road. Crushed in a single sentence. And, old man? Old man? You can talk? You say that at around 5 o'clock on the day in question, you slipped and fell on Calabash Road? Pray, was there a suspicious-looking Nipponese behind you at the time? Oh, I can't say as I remember. You don't remember? Who remembers other people when they fall? How about a wager, my learned friend? You say it was this old man that the accused saw. But I would say 1,000 to 1. Against you being able to prove it. Ah! Yeah, how would we prove it? Is a good question. Order! Order! Lord Von Zeeks, explain yourself. Also, how do you prove he was at the lady, though? My lord? You had such a trenchant argument up your sleeve. Why in the world did you not proffer it out during the exhumation examination? I wanted to give this young foreign student the sightseeing experience he no doubt came for. I wanted him to see for himself how the opinion of the jury is so readily swayed. That's a bad thing. It's a really bad thing. That doesn't mean anything. But my hospitality has its limits. And they have been reached, I feel. Keep off. So, my learned friend, today's sightseeing tour of London is now over. What? What are you talking about? My lord. The prosecution requests permission to call its next witnesses to the stand. Granted. Bailiff, bring forth the witnesses. It's next witnesses. Mr. Naruhodo, do you not remember? We've been told on several occasions that there were eyewitnesses to the incident. Yes, I remember. One of them being a Scotland Yard policeman, no less. I'm afraid that's likely to be the prosecution's next witness. Alright, no matter who Von Zieks brings to the stand as his witnesses, and no matter what they say, I believe in Soseki-san. I know he's innocent. And I'll keep believing to the very end, until this battle is over. Okay, what are these? Witnesses, please state your names and occupations for the court. What the fudge is this? Alright, here we are. Here we are. They're a couple, I guess? Oh no! Couple or twins? What are they? Couple of twins! We'll see in a second. Oh yeah, Raleigh beat. Constable Raleigh beat, sir. Nothing to report on the street, sir. Back to sleep. Patricia. Oh, that's the wife. Alright. Mrs. Beat. And I'm Mrs. Beat. Patricia is my name. I'm proud to say I'm this young town's hero's wife. What's the story here? Well, in truth, we have not been married long. In fact, we celebrated our first anniversary only the other day. Keeps me up all night with the riding. No, it was your husband I was asking about. He seems tired. Hardly surprising. Look at her. No. Whilst being an honorable occupation, patrolling the beach is the most demanding work in the world. Oh, really? I'm sure I've heard that before, actually. Okay, let's see. Are they in here? People. Are they in here now? Yeah, they're in here now. Five Constable Raleigh beat. Raleigh beat? Raleigh beat? Raleigh beat. Raleigh beat. Patricia beat. So she doesn't have a joke name. Only he does. Witness innocent. She's relatively recently married. Fiercely proud of her policeman husband. Alright. The lady, Olive Green. Really curious. This dude is not 32! F you, gang. He's not 32. These men are in their 40s. This man's in his 50s. This lady, I don't know. This widow girl's 10. This guy's in his 50s. This guy's also in his 50s. This man is 20,000 years old. This is a 16-year-old girl, apparently. Alright, let's go. Oh, really? I'm sure I've heard that before, actually. Indeed. Apart from rare days off, our gallant officers trudge some 20 miles a day, you know. They patrol boarding houses and pubs, collect taxes, survey the streets, check that meters are reading true. And they're responsible for keeping the streets clean and lighting and extinguishing our streetlights. Streetlights. There are a number of items on that list that don't sound much like policing duties at all. I wouldn't just be falling asleep on my feet, I'd have collapsed long ago. But it goes without saying that a policeman's primary duty is the apprehension of criminals. Even when he's off duty, a constable is expected to investigate and resolve any crimes on his beat. With a London Bobby as a man of honor. Yep, totally. I'm pretty sure that scarf is connected. And a man of slumber. On the day in question, this man and his wife were walking down Briar Road in the opposite direction, and they witnessed the incident as it occurred. Is that not correct, Mr. and Mrs. Beat? That's right, sir. Isn't it, Riley? Constable Riley Beat, sir. Nothing to report on the street, sir. What a great witness he's going to be. Very good. I'd like to hear your formal testimonies now, please. You will tell the court exactly what you saw on the afternoon of the incident. Yes, sir. Back to sleep, sir. So goofy. Witness testimony. What the witnesses saw. She's got a lot of hair. It was our wedding anniversary and Raleigh was taking me out for a meal. There was no time to change after work. Anyway, 2 silhouettes appeared out of the fog on the pavement in front of us. All of a sudden, one of them just collapsed on the floor. Then the other scattered something before running off. We ran straight over to it, of course, and then went for help at the nearby police box. It was definitely that Japanese man in the dock. Raleigh and I both saw him as clear as day. In the fog.
Well, this is extremely compelling testimony, I must say.
Huh. Oh dear, this policeman and his wife are claiming to have positively identified Mr. Natsume at the scene. If their testimony is true, the alternative course of events that you established in summation examination will be quashed. Its death knell, in fact, because that alternative was never viable in the first place.
What an unfortunate bechancing, and on your wedding anniversary too.
Oh, I know, but I still managed to get out for the evening with my man. I thank the Lord for that. Gosh, the life of a London bobby sounds very hard indeed.
Indeed. However, this cross-examination will be over in minutes. He may well have time to rest this afternoon.
What do you mean by that?
My learned friend, the witnesses saw the face of the man fleeing the scene. They are testifying under oath that it was without doubt the accused, Mr. Soseki Natsume. And one of these witnesses is a policeman, no less, so you appreciate the gravity of the situation, I'm sure.
A sleepy man who probably didn't see anything. Except that the man's so tired his wife has to do all the talking.
Enough preamble. Counsel for the defense, commence the cross-examination, please.
Yes, my lord. Alright, time to cross. What the witnesses saw. Oh yeah, I lost 1 point. Pressing. Press her as much as we can. No time to change after work, you say? Are you also a member of the policeman's beat? Oh no, sadly not. It's a job for strapping young men only. Women and children and the elderly can't even apply. Well, I think you can probably see why children and the elderly can't do the job, can't you? I think Riley looks ever so handsome in her uniform. It suits you down to the ground, doesn't it, darling? Yank.
What? I just finished my beat. Pat and I were heading back to the station. I was actually planning on getting changed there.
Is he talking in his sleep? This is creepy. Oh no, Riley, I much prefer you in uniform. Sometimes I don't recognize you when I see you in plain clothes. Ouch. Oh dear, that doesn't seem healthy.
Kindly adhere to the point. You were going for a meal after you had finished your beat up for the day, correct?
That's right, sir, yes. Although I was fit to drop, to be honest. After spending the whole day on my feet. But policing is my life, sir. As long as I'm the proud owner of this, I'll set my city and my queen to the end. What's that now? My warrant card, sir. Proof that I'm a London copper. It has the noble founding principles of the force written on it, as a reminder to all us policemen of our sworn duty. To patrol the streets of London town and uphold the peace of the common man. Sir, and for such a noble cause, I cover 20 miles every single day without fail and without grumble. Because I know that the plodding in my boots is all Londoners need to hear to feel safe and secure. So, fighting crime doesn't appear to come into it, then. But sir, just on that one particular day, I was looking forward to celebrating my wedding anniversary. Mrs. B puts up with a lot of being married to a bobby like me. Oh my. I wanted to show my dear wife how much I care. Repeatedly. Oh, Pat. Oh, Riley. Oh my god. Oh, what a charming couple. Their young love is such a joy to behold. If a little over the top, perhaps.
And then, kindly describe what happened next.
I really assumed she would do all the talking. All the talking. 2 silhouettes.
That's right. They were coming towards us, walking up Briar Road in the opposite direction. There was a rather plump figure followed by a scrawny, thin-looking man. That does sound exactly like the victim was pictured in this print, and like Mr. Natsume. Yes, unfortunately it does. And you're certain that that time there was nobody else nearby? Oh yes, quite certain. It was dark, but there were the streetlights on Briar Road, you see. There's nobody else around at all. Isn't that right, my darling? What? Yes, that's right. Of course, there was a light fog on the ground. The Briar Road is dead straight, and you can see a fairly long way down the pavement. And then there's the street lighting as well. I didn't see any, other pedestrians. Before sleep takes a firm hold, your answer, please, Mr. Pete. Are you quite sure of what you have just said? Yes, sir. As a cop who spends all day every day keeping watch on the streets, I'd swear to it, sir. I'm as sure as my love for Patricia is true. Oh, Pat. Oh, Riley. Oh my god. The sparkle in her eyes. They're still maintaining there was no one else around other than the victim and the attacker. It's starting to seem like that must be how it really happened. It's beginning to seem like there's nowhere to run. Well, that didn't stop Mr. Natsume, did it? He fled the scene all too convincingly. Thank you. I believe we have a reasonably clear idea of the situation just before the incident now. What happened in the crucial moments that followed? Scattered something. What do you mean by that? Oh well, I couldn't quite make out what it was at the time. But then when we got closer, we realized what it was. Didn't we, darling? What? What? Ah, yes, that's right. It was some old books. I see, old books. Yes, sir, the culprit had dropped a number of them, all around where the victim lay on the pavement. Indeed, as clearly pictured in this photographic print. Are we sure those are the 3 books the guy had bought? That rotten Japanese man did that when he did the deed. Let's not forget that it remains to be established that the defendant was indeed the killer. The attacker. But we saw him. It was the man in the dark without question, sir. The mustache, the hunchback, the cat-like eyes, the taunt mouth, the snub nose. Everything! Any more insults you want to throw in? That's right, he looked down at that poor defenseless woman with those terrifying intense eyes. And then suddenly threw his books into the pavement and ran away. I see. This is tough. They seem as though they're telling the truth here. May I remind the court that this unambiguous testimony comes from a policeman and his wife. Now please continue. Yes, sir. Every time I do that, it's so goofy. Was it your husband who went to fetch help? No, I went. I may not be a police officer myself, but I'm a proud wife of one after all. Isn't that right, my darling? God, that looks like it hurts. The sound effects do it. What? Oh, yes, that's right. I asked Miss Pete to go. I was off-duty by that point. But a Bobby's never truly off-duty, of course, so I felt obliged to stay and guard the scene. Very laudable, Mr. Beat. Preserving the scene of a crime is a task of considerable importance. That's why I sent Patricia, you see. I told her where to find the right police box. Forgive my ignorance, but what do you mean exactly by the right police box? Depends on a crime's location, you see, as to who deals with it. where the woman who stabbed wasn't actually on my beat. So I told Patricia to wait till the police box with the beat the incident fell under so she could go and report it. I ran there as quickly as I could and asked for help from the Bobby on duty. There's nothing more potent than a young couple in love working together, you know?
And thanks to your swift response, the case was quickly resolved. The actions of two model citizens.
Oh, please. You're making us blush. Isn't he, darling?
Yes, sir. What Patricia said, sir. Oh my god. Let's move on, shall we? Here's the last one. Well, it was not clear as day, but okay. But surely you wouldn't have been able to see his face by the light of the gas street lights, would you?
Oh, we actually could. Us Londoners have exceptional eyesight, I'll have you know.
Right.
The light from the street lamps were more than enough. And my husband already told you that the fog was only light, didn't he?
Huh. Yes, and what of the fog? We're famous for it across the globe, I believe. But it's an absolute menace to those of us who have to live with it, of course.
Oh, it is, it is. When it's thick, you can't see the hand at the end of your own arm.
It kind of sounds cool. Yes, alright, I take your point. Now, could you stop shaking your husband, please?
The constant fog makes my eyes very sharp, you see. That's why we can tell you for certain that it was that little Japanese man we saw. Can't we, darling?
What? What? Ah, yes, it was the accuser, no mistake. The mustache, the hunchback, the cat-like eyes, the top mouth, the snub nose, and... unmistakable, sir. As far as this couple's testimony is concerned, there can't be any question. It was the Seki-san they saw running away from the scene of the crime. But that's it, is it? That's their entire testimony? What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, I hate to admit it, but on hearing the testimony, it really does seem as though Mr. and Mrs. Beat saw what they saw that day. Saw what they say they saw. Jeez. Mr. Natsume running away from the scene on Briar Road that day.
Yes, I feel the same.
So if that's true, where does it leave us?
The members of the jury are sure to call for a guilty verdict after this testimony.
Oh no! Then what do we do?
If Kazuma-sama were here...
What are you trying to say?
I think he would try to find a contradiction somewhere within their testimony.
What do you mean, somewhere else?
Their statement about seeing Mr. Natsume is unequivocal. Calling that into question won't help. But if you can identify some other part of their testimony which appears to contradict the facts, you might be able to discredit them, to make the jury doubt if the pair's memory of the day is accurate.
Oh, right.
Put simply, we must focus on finding a discrepancy in those statements somewhere. If we don't, I'm afraid the trial may reach an early and unfavorable conclusion.
Why do I always seem to be so up against it? Because it's a game.
Mr. Lawyer, sir, can I ask you something?
Oh, yes, of course. What is it?
Well, you keep asking us all these questions about everything. We told you so. It seems like you don't believe our testimony, is that right? Is it? Well, out with it.
What? No, it's not really that at all.
My husband's a policeman, remember? And I know what I saw. I remember every last detail, everything. Like... Oh, I know. What about the books the man dropped? I could tell you the names of every single one, I could. Every single one.
This is what I was looking for. Okay.
And you dare to question how reliable my testimony is?
That will do, Miss Beat.
No, he won't do at all. That Japanese lawyer has no idea what I'm capable of. Even if I decide to forgive him for insulting us, don't think for a minute that Raleigh will.
This is very cute and dumb at the same time. I really didn't mean to cause offense. Please put your husband's fist down. Perhaps you would like the opportunity to supplement your testimony, Miss... After I'd been to the police box for help, I decided to have a good look over the area for good measure. I'm a proud policeman's wife, after all. I did it for Raleigh. And what was your husband doing at the time? Oh, he was lying face down in the snow, getting some well-deserved rest. Oh, dear. He works ever so hard, you know. Ever so hard. Don't you, my darling? Interesting way of guarding the scene of the crime. Well, Miss Beat, seeing as you've regaled the court with tales of your powers of recollection, would you be so kind as to recount the titles of the books you observed at the scene? I'd be happy to, Ned. Now, are you all listening? There was the picture of Monsieur somebody or other, and What's It Yearnings, and there was a meal for someone, and the last was definitely the Thimagummies something. Okay. You see? Oh my god. Yes, I see there are one or two holes in your memory. Oh well, they were along those lines, I'm quite sure. There were indeed books found at the scene with titles along those lines, as you put it. Well, what did I tell you? I think it's very mean the way you've been implying that my testimony can't be trusted. Don't you agree, darling? Anyone upsets my Patricia will have me to answer to. Thought they don't have guns back in the day. Terrifying. Yes, she really is. So that's it, is it? That's their entire testimony? What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, I hate to admit it, but on hearing the testimony, it really does seem as though Mr. and Mrs. Beat saw what they saw that day. What they say. Okay, we read those before. We're gonna get her on the books, just one sec. Come on, get through all this. Just seeing if there's anything new since they... It's really weird that we got that as this part, right? Like, and then we gotta do this again. There's no way out of this. Okay. So now... Okay, so... Present. Take a look at the list. Examine. Picture of Monsieur Lecoq. Meal for Gabarreau. Canterbury Yearnings. Okay, she was close on some of that. We can go into history. A meal for... Yeah, okay. That means something... Something Yearnings. Yeah, okay, yeah. The thing is, there was a fourth book. That's what's interesting. So let's get her with this and see what happens. Present. Objection. Objection. So you're saying there were 4 books? That's right, I remember all of them. The picture of Monsieur Somebody, What's It Yearnings, A Meal for Someone. Here's the last one. The Thingagummy Something. I'm sorry, Mrs. Beat. But there is a fundamental flaw in that statement of yours. Oh no, what? What flaw? Simply that at the scene of the crime, there are only 3 books, not 4. What? This is the receipt from the bookshop where the defendant bought his books. Your books? Yes, and it details Mr. Natsume's purchases that day. But as you can see, only 3 books are listed. Only 3? But no, that can't be.
remember seeing them. There were 4 books, I tell you. 4 dirty old books.
Oh, really? Have a good look at this photographic print of the scene of the crime. As you can clearly see from the evidence as well, there are only 3 books.
But I just don't believe it. But I just don't believe it.
That's better.
I saw them, I swear. I saw them.
No, madam, I'm afraid your powers of observation cannot be relied upon.
Yeah.
So it cannot be denied that though you say it was the defendant you saw, you could very well be mistaken.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! No!
Why is he pointing at Von Zeeks?
Punch!
It's plainly evident that it is your powers of deduction that cannot be relied upon, my learned Nipponese friend. What? Yeah, another cup. What cannot be denied is that these 2 witnesses saw the accused running from the scene. A fact that you know very well you have no hope of disproving. Ah! So you've striven to avert attention from that by dint of some inconsequential discrepancies. Would that be fair? He sees right through me. But your plan has somewhat recoiled against you. What are you talking about? It's quite simple. Let me explain with a toast. To the policeman's wife and her entirely accurate testimony in every respect.
Oh!
You see, the matter is not up for debate. At the scene on Briar Road, a total of 4 books were most definitely found.
Objection!
But what about the photographic print? It only shows 3 books. Quite right. Only 3 can be seen in that print. That print, you mean to say... Break. Allow me to present another. One that shows the victim's hand. The lion's pride. What? I don't believe it. It's the 4th book. As you will observe, the 4th book was hidden from view in the original print by the victim's torso. No. No! The thing is, we know what that book's about. Order! Order!
There, you see? You see? Look at that! Look, look, look!
Yes.
It's just like I said, isn't it, my darling?
Yes, sir. Patricia's always right, sir. Let us study the receipt for the books purchased by the accused on the day in question. Mrs. Beat, the titles once again, if you please.
Oh yes, of course. The picture of Monsieur somebody or other.
The picture of Monsieur Lecoq.
What's it, earnings?
Canterbury earnings. Canterbury earnings.
A meal for someone.
A meal for Goborao, in fact. What is waiting for Godot? As the court has just heard, the witness remembers the book titles flawlessly, save for a few minor details. So is it flawless? Mrs. Beat's power of recollection can only be described as exceptional.
Did you hear that, Raleigh? The gentleman paid me a compliment.
Yes, sir. It's flawless, sir. Patricia is flawless. But there are only 3 books on the receipt, and Miss Beat mentioned 4. There's nothing surprising about that. Clearly the 4th book is that which is shown in this photographic print. I'm sorry, Counsel, but does that not seem odd? Why should the 4th book be omitted from the receipt? It's not odd at all, my lord. As the photograph clearly shows, the 4th book was found in the victim's clutches. In other words, it belongs to the victim. The victim was holding her own book.
I wonder what became of that 4th book.
Obviously, it wasn't overlooked by the investigating officers at Scotland Yard. I have it here as evidence. I need that! I need that! You will submit that in the aforementioned photographic print to the court, please, counsel. My pleasure, my lord. The second scene photograph has been added to the record. Second scene is a second photograph of the scene taken by a policeman just after the incident. It specifically shows the victim's hand. Fourth book has been added. Lion's Pride. Discover the victim's hand in the scene. The prosecution rests. I have nothing further to add. What? You seem surprised, my learned friend. But your resistance only now has been in vain. Entertaining, yes, but futile. The spurious longer route to the accused lodgings that you tried to establish in your summation examination, and the attempted discrediting of the witness's power of recollection in your cross-examination. Futile? I walked right into this, didn't I? You see, everything we said is true. Isn't that right, my darling? Yes, pet. Marry me, pet. So perhaps the ladies and gentlemen of the jury would like to reconsider their positions? Did the court waste any more time on this Nipponese travesty? Or is it the decision you have to make all too apparent already? Ooh. You have heard all the witnesses see now, all of the evidence. This trial has run its course. Mr. Naruhodo, I'm afraid we are in a terribly precarious position. I know, but if I fight back in the wrong way now, I could very well just make matters worse. Think, Ionescu, think. What do you think do now? One sec. Let's take a look at this. New picture. Alright, nothing here. Okay. Take a look at this. The Lion's Pride. Burned. Oh, look at this. The book has been badly burnt. You're right. You'd never be able to read it in this state, especially not the later pages. What a terrible waste. Judging from the scorched edges of the paper, I think the damage must have occurred very recently. A book I've recently damaged by fire. Why does it seem to raise a red flag for me? Right? Nothing. Oh, the title. Let me see. It's a book entitled The Lion's Pride. I'm afraid I don't know any English literature at all. That would be something I've heard. Wait a minute! The Lion's Pride? That's strange. I think I have heard of a book by that name before. And very recently, too. Yup. It's a title I recognize too, Mr. Naruhodo. Can we open the book at all? No. Alright, well, we got thing. Let's raise an objection. Objection! Objection! I'm not done yet! No, my learned friend. It's over. That last cross-examination was your final chance to establish a credible defense, and you failed. The die has been cast. There is no more room for debate. Well, it might be over as far as you're concerned, but... I can't think of what to say. If I may, Lord Von Zieks. It seems somewhat boorish to close down the debate at this point. Your insignificant little Eastern Isle must be a lawless hole indeed. A lowly judicial assistant had the audacity to intervene at a moment like this. Oh. I am, to my shame, still a very inexperienced lawyer. So you have to forgive me, but I consider my assistant's advice essential and her opinions invaluable. Woo! Mr. Naruhodo. One of this land's great guiding principles is tolerance, so the court will hear you, madam. Go ahead, Mr. Sato, please. Very well. Pray, what insight can you give us?
what have we all overlooked in this matter that you see fit to pursue further? Well, the court has been presented with new evidence, but only after the cross-examination finished.
I see. And you believe that this new evidence warrants further examination, do you?
Huh? Mr. Naruhodo, what do you think?
Yeah!
It's just possible this new evidence might be the decisive proof we've been waiting for. The judge is sure to ask the members of the jury to announce their leanings in a moment. And of course he's sure to ask you to explain what the crucial piece of evidence is and why. So we must take this opportunity to examine the newly presented evidence as thoroughly as possible.
I already did. Yes, I understand. And thank you, Mr. Sato. This is it. Sasato-san has managed to win us one last chance here. I can't let it go to waste. The defense wishes to present evidence, my lord. Very well. The defense may present one further piece of evidence. Evidence that apparently offers a profound insight into this case and has hitherto been overlooked. That's why she's in the jury, so we can talk to her about this. Present! The evidence in question is what we can see from the newly presented photographic print of the crime scene. The fourth book, found in the victim's hand.
Objection!
We have already discussed the fourth book at length. Other than it being in the victim's grasp at the time of the incident, no significance has been attached to it. Pursuing the matter further would be a flagrant waste of the court's time, as you well know. Yes, I'm afraid, counsel, I must concur with the prosecution on this matter. When I afford you this opportunity, you led the court to believe that the evidence in question contained a hitherto undiscovered clue. So I must insist that you elaborate, counsel. You identified the clue at once. Do I make myself clear?
Oh, yes, my lord. It's, Mr. Naruhodo. I believe the prosecution is trying to avoid a thorough examination of the evidence. Which means you may very well be on the right track.
Yes, I think you might be right. So, counsel, precisely where is the vital clue to this case which this fourth book conceals?
On the back. There. Oh, crap. Okay, we ordered this. I meant to present this.
Got it!
I would ask the court to observe the back of the book in question.
The back? What do you... Good gracious! It's been burnt to a crisp.
But we have to ask ourselves, why was the victim clutching what is clearly an unreadable book? It is undeniably an extremely unnatural thing for her to have been doing.
Objection!
Unnatural, you say? And what of it, my Nipponese friend?
Oh!
Well, to concede the point, if it bears no relation to the case, there's nothing to discuss. So should you wish to assert that this fire damage is some veiled clue as to what happened that day? Pray, do enlighten us all. What truth does this charred book hide? A charred book. There's just one possibility here, which I can't quite bring myself to rule out. It's an outside chance, certainly, but worth a try. Alright, I'll explain my theory. Don't keep us waiting any longer then, counsel. Explain this theory of yours. What are you suggesting you can assert from the fire damage this Saritome has suffered?
Its owner. My lord, the burn on the back of this book reveals a startling truth about the book's owner.
I beg your pardon?
But we already know who the book belongs to. The victim was gripping it in her hand as she fell to the floor. After all, it's obviously hers. The question of how this book came to be in the victim's hand has yet to be answered. However, as to the question of who the book really belongs to and where it originated,
The defense has very credible answers.
Good gracious, how can you possibly...
Very well, I'll play along with this futile attempt to delay your inevitable demise. But do remember, the members of the jury may well burn if your little gamble goes awry.
Counsel, the defense's response here is very likely to influence the final outcome of this trial. So tell the court, who do you claim is the owner of the burnt book?
This guy. Present. Surprise music. No music. The answer is that the book belongs to the couple who own the house where the defendant has his lodgings. A certain Mr. and Mrs. Garadeb.
The landlords?
And whether this is some extraordinary coincidence or some kind of fate at work, I don't know, but... Of all the people in London, one of the 6 chosen for jury duty in this courtroom today is none other than Mrs. Garadib herself. Oh my goodness, me? I think you must be mistaken, sir. I'm not Mr. Garadib's wife, I'm his maid. Things would be so much easier if you would just drop the pretense. Alright then, how about a simple question for you? Have you ever seen this book in Mr. Garadib's house? I would never presume to know all the books he keeps, sir.
Objection!
This is outlandish behavior. This woman is the accuser's landlady, you say? You implicate this hard-working member of the public, you besmirch her without a shred of evidence. Your actions are unforgivable.
Objection!
Bitch, please. This is not mere conjecture. The defense happens to know that on the day in question, at almost exactly the same time as the victim was stabbed on the pavement below, another incident was taking place in the room on the top floor of Mr. and Mrs. Garadib's house.
Good lord! What sort of incident, counsel?
A fire, my lord.
Afraid to say it was. Happened in the blink of an eye, you know. The whole place filled with smoke. Couldn't see a bally thing. Didn't take long for the fire to spread, of course. The bally furniture started going up as well. Worst of it is, I lost my favorite book called The Lion's Pride. Oh, look at his face!
The Lion's Pride.
By Jove, the very same title that's the subject of this debate.
Oh, dear me.
Objection!
This is risible. All you've told the court is that a book by the same name was involved in a fire. In which case it would be reasonable to assume that it was burnt to ashes. And entirely unreasonable to infer that it magically removed itself to the scene of the crime.
Perhaps it would make more sense if I told you that the case of the fire was marital discord. Without going into details, it appears that Mrs. Garadib was considerably enraged. Apparently, she continued to attack Mr. Garadib even amid the flames. Oh, how awful! I can't even imagine being so horrid to the one you love. Can you, Rowley?
Absolutely not, sir! My Patricia would never raise a finger against me, sir. And all my favorite novels in that case. But as soon as the fire got a hold of them, that was it. Whoosh, up in smoke. And then the fire started hurtling. Then the fire started hurtling things at me. There was I, back up against the window, under heavy enemy fire. Incendiary books, incoming 10 to the dozen. The man had his back against the window, and he had burning books thrown at him. Goodness gracious, are you suggesting that the book was thrown through a window and landed coincidentally at the scene of the crime?
Objection!
This is not. No, a thorough investigation of the surrounding area was conducted the very evening of the incident. And there's no report of the Garadib's window pane being broken. That's quite true. We also saw no sign of broken glass when we visited the Garadib household. But is it not conceivable that the window was open at the time and Not even remotely. Let us not forget the season and the chilling weather that accompanies it. It was a fire! No Londoner would ever leave a window open in the middle of winter. Ah! Does the defense postulate the scenario in all seriousness, Counsel? Do you honestly claim that the book found at the scene was a flaming projectile thrown by Mr. Gerdib's wife? I believe it's a possibility, my lord. That's quite enough. It wasn't him? It was... Oh, it was her. That's quite enough. Well, I hope that everyone can see you for what you are now. You little foreign trickster. You call yourself a lawyer, but you're just a coward. A mean coward. Really? Claiming that our little tiff set the whole neighborhood alight? Honestly. Implying that I'm merely posing as a maid for appearance's sake? How could you? It's nothing to do with this beastly case, not any of it. All you've done is sully my family's name. No, I assure you that was never my intention. Dragging your upstanding citizen's name through the mud, simply to avert attention from your failing defense. Well, it just hits that guy. It's like, whoa! I should box your ears, that's what I should do, it's utterly unforgivable. Too right. Here we go. How long have we sat here now, listening to this Nipponese spouting out his fancy foreign theories? Racism! But think about it. At the end of the day, the only person who could possibly have stabbed the victim is that little hunchback with a mustache, and he ran away from the scene, too. I do declare you're right. Golly, it's true. Yes, what did I tell you? Makes sense to me. Huh? Sorry, what's the that? Well, it would appear that the ladies and gentlemen of the jury are once again in full agreement. What is your position, Lord Von Zeeks? In truth, my lord, I feel these have been unnecessarily protracted proceedings. But then one must always exercise patience in order to save out the best vintage. No! Wait! The mystery of the fourth book still hasn't been... If books are your predilection, my learned friend, study them on your own time. Huh. What? No forgive the discourtesy this time? In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will now state your individual decisions regarding the defendant's culpability for the court to hear.
Guilty!
Here we go.
Guilty.
Guilty! 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 Guilty!
I just do not agree with some of those voices. Are we doing a second summation examination? Do we get to just keep doing these? Alright. Thank you for the ambiguous response. That's twice now, it's over. Miss Naruto, don't give up. Huh? Mrs. Sato? Have you forgotten? The battle isn't over yet. You're not suggesting... Of course, the defense has the right to another summation examination at this point. You can still convince the jurors to change their mind. You have one more chance. Get their ass. My lord, the defense has to exercise its right to a summation examination. You believe you still have tricks up your sleeve? I don't intend to trick anybody. I intend to uncover the truth. This is no time to be downcast. As long as there's a chance, I have to stay strong and determined. I was right, that was a break point. Okay. So we're gonna stop there, obviously. We went pretty long, too. I'm like, we gotta be hitting a break point any second now. I'm like, there it is. I thought the break point would be after the book, but I thought it'd be a lot sooner than it happened. Alright, there we go. So that is the game for now. I had fun, hope you had fun watching. That's what's all about it. Having fun, thanks for coming by, and see you next time.